Hey, welcome back to Life on the Wrist. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to talk about the Patek Philippe Aquanaut prototype and what we think about it selling for a ridiculous amount, 401,000 Swiss francs. We're going to tell you what we think about it, and yeah, we might as well just get started right now. Oh, if you haven't already, liked this video. So Antiquarium sold a Patek Philippe Aquanaut that had prototype written on the dial for 401,000 Swiss francs, which is an insane amount to sell for a watch that has a lot of controversy around it. Many thought it was one of the biggest lots of the auction world in May, and others thought it was a fake watch. They didn't think it was a real watch from Patek Philippe. So I'm going to give you my thoughts about this. So obviously Instagram blew up about this watch when people started when you know, this watch was released by Antiquarium to be sold. People, you know, were debating whether it was fake or real, and a lot of people were saying, I'd never wear it. Some people were saying, oh, this is one of the coolest watches ever. So that's kind of how I got that news. The issue with this watch is that it's not your typical Aquanaut. The first thing that's pretty noticeable is that on the dial, it is written, the word prototype is written on the dial. And that's why everyone's like, I don't think Patek Philippe would ever do something like that. So the Aquanaut, just to give you a little bit of history, was launched in 1997. This version is the reference 5060A. Typically this watch only has the time and date, but what's interesting about this is between 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock, there is a power reserve indicator. So that's one thing that's a little bit different for this reference. The next thing is that on the movement, it is written LABO number 4, which obviously shows that this movement was part of an experimental batch of movements that were used for the Aquanaut. Obviously, you know, among that, the dial is also not what someone would typically see of a Aquanaut. It doesn't have the correct you know, finishing to the finishing to it is a lot different. The hands are different, and obviously it has that prototype written on the dial. So some say that the watch, the case should actually be the case itself should be stamped with the word prototype. That would allow it to be known as being a prototype instead of the dial, which is why people are being very hesitant and think that it was a fake. These are obviously collectors that have done extensive research and have owned multiple Aquanauts and know what they're talking about. So I'm not quoting myself here. Some also say that, you know, Patek. Some also say that you know, this was used as a research and development piece for them. So Patek was trying to experiment. So obviously someone thought that the winner of the auction lot obviously thought that there was a huge amount of value in this watch, and perhaps, you know, thought that they were getting something that was extremely unique. I don't think we have seen this type of watch ever at auction. So either way, you know, I think you're buying something unique. Whether or not it's actually real is another thing. There was, however, a story about Patek Philippe approaching Antiquarium before they listed this watch for sale, and Patek Philippe actually wanted to purchase this watch, which I think adds a little bit of validity to the fact that this watch perhaps really was produced by Patek Philippe and isn't a fake watch. I think I remember reading that many collectors say that this watch is probably 80% real. 80% meaning that it's on the higher end of reality. That ultimately means that perhaps the buyer who did purchase it got a really sweet deal for 401,000 Swiss francs for probably a one-of-a-kind, at least for what we know, a one-of-a-kind Patek Philippe Aquanaut. The collector is obviously going to have something extremely unique in their collection that if they have that on their wrist, they will never ever find someone who's going to have that watch. I think, if me personally, I think I would have pulled the trigger on it. I think for 401,000 Swiss francs, to get a one-of-a-kind Patek Philippe Aquanaut that we've never seen before, that was a prototype, I think that's a testament to what Patek Philippe was doing to innovate within the industry, but also to you know, to have something unique in my collection that someone else isn't gonna have. Ultimately, I don't know where you're gonna land on this where you will personally land on this debate. I think we're all entitled to our own opinions, which I think is something that's very unique about our civilization. So you can think it's real, you can think it's fake. What I do like about this is that it allows us to it makes us research and uncover more information about these types of watches, and allows for the general knowledge of the public to increase. And that is ultimately one of the best things that has come out of the explosion of watches over the recent decades, is people are becoming more knowledgeable. We are appreciating the heritage of these companies and what they're able to do, and I think this prototype does exactly that. So $401,000 to advance everyone in this industry, I think that's a fair price to pay, and a really awesome watch to do so. So if you've made it this far and you haven't already, let me know what you think about this watch. Do you think it's fake? Do you think it's real? Love to hear what you think. If you've made it this far and you enjoy this type of content, and you've checked out some of our other videos, subscribe to our channel, really would help us out. It's free, you might as well just click that button. And also like this video, like I said in the beginning of this topic. And I hope you guys have a nice rest of your day.